Red Bull makes huge decision about its future. Lewis is in a tough spot as Ferrari pressure increases, and McLaren mocks the FIA after failed rules. Let's get into the latest F1 news. Fresh hope has emerged for Lewis Hamilton, who has recently been described as punch-drunk following a tough outing at the Spanish Grand Prix. David Coulthard, a former F1 driver, highlighted Hamilton's struggles, but also noted some reasons for optimism. Despite a challenging day, Hamilton managed to keep pace with Charles Leclerc during the middle stint of the race. This indication of form suggests that not all is lost for the Brit in his debut season with Ferrari. Hamilton's journey with Ferrari has not been easy. After joining the iconic team in the off-season, he has faced difficulties in adapting and has been on the receiving end of disappointing results, often losing to teammate Leclerc in their head-to-head matchups. So far this season, Hamilton has yet to achieve a podium finish with Ferrari. While he's shown by securing pole position and winning the sprint in China, those moments stand as the lone highlights amidst ongoing challenges. His communications with race engineer Riccardo Adami have underscored his frustration at the team's struggles, which continued to play out during the recent Spanish Grand Prix. Although he managed to out-qualify Leclerc for only the second time this season and declared his hope for a podium, his aspirations quickly faded. After an underwhelming early stint, Hamilton ultimately fell to 6th place, even losing a position to Nico Hülkenberg in the closing laps. In a moment of disbelief, Hamilton expressed his concerns directly to Adami during his in-lap, stating, "Unbelievable, guys. There's something wrong with this car, mate. It's the worst it's ever been." His words reflected the palpable frustration that has become a narrative thread this season. After the race, Hamilton did take a moment to reflect on his performance with some humility. He emphasized that his struggles were not solely the car's fault. "It was just not a great day," he said, acknowledging that the strategy was sound and the team performed well. "What do you want me to say? I just had a really bad day." When suggestions arose that Ferrari could address the issues highlighted during the race, Hamilton took a blunt stance, saying, "I'm sure they won't. It's probably just me." This candid admission illustrates Hamilton's willingness to take responsibility in a sport where pressure is immense, particularly for someone of his stature. Coulthard, while noting Hamilton's punch-drunk demeanor, pointed to a silver lining in Hamilton's efforts. Amidst the disappointing performance, there were moments that hinted at potential for improvement, suggesting that brighter days might still lie ahead for the 7-time world champion as he continues to adapt to the rigors of his new Ferrari surroundings. As the season progresses, Hamilton's resilience and ability to find positives could prove invaluable. Now, fans remain hopeful that he will harness these moments to regain the form that has made him a legend in the sport. Whether he can turn this punch-drunk phase into a launching pad for success will be a fascinating story to follow in the upcoming races. In the aftermath of the Spanish Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton found himself in the center of a whirlwind debate, with strong opinions surfacing about his performance. David Coulthard suggested that teams must prioritize their faster car, advocating for a strategy that could change the race's dynamics later on. Meanwhile, Hamilton started the race slower than expected, but showed signs of improvement, matching Charles Leclerc in the middle stages of the race. Despite those glimmers of hope, Hamilton admitted he felt he may have contributed to his underwhelming pace. Fred Vasseur, Ferrari's team principal, added a layer of mystery by revealing that there was a car issue towards the end of Hamilton's stint, although he remained tight-lipped about the specifics. Vasseur highlighted Hamilton's steady performance, noting that he spent a majority of the race ahead of teammate George Russell, a detail that might go unnoticed amid the chaos of the final results. Still, the reality remained harsh for Hamilton as he stood at P6 in the Drivers' Championship, trailing Leclerc by 23 points. The gap to championship leader Oscar Piastri loomed at 115 points. This performance fueled Hamilton's emotional response in a post-race interview, leading him to express feelings of being just so down. As Ferrari's boss clarified Hamilton's admission that the Spanish Grand Prix was his worst race ever, we're left contemplating the implications for the upcoming races and how Hamilton will bounce back from this challenging episode. Hamilton's journey continues, and fans are eager to see if he can regain his championship form and silence the critics. Why does Mercedes remain hopeful about their performance in the 2025 Formula One season, despite facing issues with their power units? Let's dive into the recent events and insights from the team. Recently, during the Spanish Grand Prix, Kimi Antonelli's Mercedes W16 suffered a power unit failure, a setback that certainly grabbed attention. While much of the focus was on Max Verstappen's antics during the race, the root cause of the safety car, Antonelli's failure, has been somewhat overshadowed. Despite these challenges, James Allison, the team's technical director, firmly believes that the situation is not as grim as it appears. He pointed out that while the power unit issues are frustrating, they don't mark the end of Mercedes' hopes for the 2025 season. In fact, he still holds an optimistic view for what lies ahead. The Spanish Grand Prix was unfolding smoothly until that critical moment on lap 54, when Antonelli's car abruptly lost power, forcing it into a gravel trap. This incident triggered a safety car period, which drastically altered race dynamics. The entire field saw this as an opportunity to pit, including Verstappen, who was on his fourth visit to the pits. With the Red Bull team equipping him with their remaining hard tires, tensions rose during the subsequent restart. Verstappen collided with both Charles Leclerc and George Russell, which drew attention away from Antonelli's unfortunate situation. Sadly, this left Antonelli with a points-less streak that extended over the course of 3 races, a notable dry spell for any Mercedes driver, reminiscent of the struggles Nico Rosberg faced back in 2013. After the race, Mercedes gathered for a debrief. When asked about the team's mindset, Allison described it as mixed, noting they felt reflective yet hopeful. He acknowledged the excellent aspects of their approach during the Spanish Grand Prix weekend and the car's performance under extremely hot conditions. This, he suggested, offers them a glimpse of optimism for future races. However, there's no ignoring the sting of 2 did not finish DNF results over a triple header that saw them failing to score points at rates consistent with earlier races. Currently, Mercedes stands 3rd in the World Constructors' Championship with 159 points. This position has been exacerbated by Ferrari's unexpected resurgence after the race in Barcelona. Despite the setbacks, Mercedes continues to evaluate and learn from each race, striving to improve their power unit performance and overall competitiveness. The feedback from their drivers and engineers will be crucial as they move forward. The team's resilience and ability to adapt will play a significant role in how they tackle the remainder of the 2025 season. With all these factors in mind, it's clear why Mercedes chooses to remain optimistic, even in the face of adversity. Kenny, the spirit of competition in Formula One is relentless, but so too is the determination of teams like Mercedes to bounce back and reclaim their place at the top. Stay tuned for further updates as the season progresses. The Monaco Grand Prix was a challenging race for both Antonelli and Russell, as neither were able to secure points despite completing the race. The difficulty continued for Antonelli, who faced mechanical failures in Imola and Barcelona, leaving Russell as the sole point scorer for Mercedes. Unfortunately, the hardships didn't end there. In Barcelona, Antonelli experienced a power unit failure, leaving his car stranded in a gravel trap. As Allison noted, the exact cause of the failure hasn't been determined yet, but the power unit has been sent back to Brixworth for inspection. There, the team will dissect it to find the fault and develop solutions for both Mercedes and their customer teams. Allison expressed hope that this issue wouldn't recur this season. However, it has raised significant concerns regarding power unit allocation. While Mercedes is still within the allowed number of component changes, they may need to use their remaining resources more strategically moving forward. Allison acknowledged the added pressure on their power unit pool and mentioned that replacing a power unit at the next race wouldn't incur penalties, as they haven't reached their maximum quota yet. However, with the season still ongoing, there's a risk of exhausting their power unit resources too early. Despite these setbacks, Allison remains optimistic. The Mercedes W16 has shown reliability, allowing Russell to remain competitive in the championship battle, particularly against rivals Piastri and Norris. As the season unfolds, fans will be eager to see how the team navigates these challenges and strives for success. Valtteri Bottas recently shed light on a significant obstacle that could hinder his potential move to Red Bull in the near future. So, what's holding him back? Well, it appears there's someone within the Red Bull organization who simply doesn't see Bottas in a favorable light. As the 2026 F1 season approaches, Red Bull is aware that Bottas might be available if they choose to shake things up in their driver lineup. However, Bottas pointed out that such a transition didn't come close to becoming a reality for this current season. The primary reason? A person, or perhaps certain persons in Red Bull, don't hold him in high regard. Diving deeper into Bottas's career, he faced a significant shift when he lost his seat on the Formula One grid at the end of 2024. Sauber's decision to introduce a fresh lineup with Nico Hülkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto forced Bottas back to a familiar role as a reserve driver for his former team, Mercedes. Before this new chapter, there were whispers about Bottas making a switch to Red Bull. The spotlight on Sergio Perez's uncertain future added to the speculation, especially as his performance has notably dipped in comparison to his teammate Max Verstappen, who has now claimed 4 consecutive drivers' championships. With Perez's departure, Red Bull decided to promote Liam Lawson from their junior team as a replacement. Interestingly, this decision didn't quite pay off, as Lawson only managed to stay for 2 race weekends before being sent back to Racing Bulls, with Yuki Tsunoda taking his place. Tsunoda, however, has faced his own challenges, adding only 7 points to his tally this season. During a recent appearance on the Beyond the Grid podcast, Bottas was probed about whether he thinks Red Bull would consider looking outside their driver academy for new talent, just as they did when they signed Perez for the 2021 season. Bottas admitted he's unsure if Red Bull will take that route, noting the robust pool of drivers they have within their current setup. However, Bottas is intrigued by a thought. Does Red Bull need an experienced driver to help elevate their second car higher up the grid? Given his past accomplishments, including contributing to 5 consecutive constructors' titles for Mercedes between 2017 and 2021, Bottas believes he could be that driver. Though he recognizes the car's complexities, Bottas pointed out that Max Verstappen has consistently managed to push the limits, while those alongside him haven't consistently shined. He speculates that perhaps the Red Bull car requires a more seasoned driver to truly tap into its potential. In sum, as Bottas contemplates the possibility of wearing Red Bull's colors, he is met with hurdles and speculations about whether experience or fresh talent is what the team truly needs. Only time will determine where Bottas's F1 journey takes him next. But supporters are keenly watching how this narrative unfolds. As Valtteri Bottas contemplates his future in Formula One, he's not shy about expressing his desire to be part of the action next year. However, there's a cloud of uncertainty hanging over potential deals, notably with Red Bull. Bottas has shared that he feels a negative sentiment from within the team, which may stymie any prospects for a seat there. Despite this, Bottas remains hopeful, suggesting that he's ready to race and eager for opportunities. Switching gears, there's exciting news on the horizon for Formula One in 2026, with significant regulation changes. The confirmed teams and power unit suppliers are positioning themselves for a competitive future. However, Bottas's experience with Red Bull showcases the complexities of F1 negotiations, especially when personal preferences come into play. Speaking of experiences, Bottas had a thrilling run recently with McLaren, describing it as a next-level testing experience. His journey continues to evolve as he navigates through new opportunities and challenges. Meanwhile, as F1 prepares for major shifts, Cadillac is also gearing up for their debut next year. They're currently in the hunt for the perfect driver and are targeting talks at the Miami Grand Prix. On a lighter note, Bottas offered insights into another F1 giant, Lewis Hamilton. He emphasized that once you grasp the fundamentals, adapting isn't as daunting as it may seem. This reflects the spirit of resilience and determination that marks the F1 world, making the upcoming season something to watch. So, whether it's debates over team dynamics or adaptations to new regulations, Formula One is buzzing with excitement, anticipation, and perhaps a hint of drama. Stay tuned for more updates as this captivating story unfolds. Isaac Hajar has found himself in the spotlight recently, amidst whispers of a potential Red Bull promotion for the 2025 Formula One season. However, advice from former F1 driver Christijan Albers has sent waves through the paddock. He strongly suggested that Hajar should consider exiting his Red Bull contract entirely if he wishes to cultivate a lasting career in Formula One. Albers reasoned this caution, highlighting the challenges Hajar might face alongside the reigning world champion, Max Verstappen. The intense pressure and competition in Formula One can take a toll on even the most talented drivers. This season, Hajar has truly emerged as one of the standout talents on the grid. Competing fiercely for the Rookie of the Year title, he has shown remarkable progress, even if Kimi Antonelli currently leads in points. After an inauspicious beginning to his F1 journey, one marked by an unfortunate crash during the formation lap in Australia that left him visibly upset, Hajar has turned his season around spectacularly. Since that early setback, he has consistently showcased his skills, breaking into the top 10 in qualifying 5 times and earning points in 5 races. His strong performance has resulted in a total of 21 points, significantly outpacing his first Racing Bulls teammate Yuki Tsunoda. Despite Tsunoda's departure to race in the winning Red Bull RB21, Hajar has managed to shine, even producing better results than Liam Lawson, who was initially tapped as Verstappen's partner. Noticing his rapid ascent, pundits have begun to speculate that Hajar could be on track to replace Tsunoda either later this season or next year. However, this potential promotion brings with it a complex dilemma. Red Bull's second seat has proven to be a tough environment for any driver. The world of Formula One is no picnic. Red Bull has faced their fair share of challenges since Daniel Ricciardo's departure in 2018, cycling through 5 different drivers to fill the second seat. None have truly matched the remarkable capabilities of Verstappen. While Lawson had the shortest stint, only lasting 2 races, other drivers like Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz stirred discussions after their departures from Red Bull to thrive at teams like Alpine. Albers' warning to Hajar, encouraging him to find an alternative path before entering the senior team, stems from this history. Red Bull's harsh reality stands as a testament to the unpredictable nature of F1 careers. With so much at stake in the relentless competition, drivers in a higher pressure environment like Red Bull must tread carefully. For Hajar, the path ahead is filled with possibilities. Will he heed the advice to carve out his identity within F1, or will he put himself on a collision course with the championship's elite? In the high-stakes world of Formula One, where talent meets opportunity, the decisions a young driver makes can shape his future forever. For Isaac Hajar, the upcoming races may dictate whether his legacy is forged in triumph or overshadowed by the brilliance of Max Verstappen. Everyone is going to have a hard time next to Max Verstappen, according to Albers. The competition is fierce, and it's crucial for young drivers like Isaac Hajar to carefully navigate their paths in the high-stakes world of Formula One. Hajar's management should be contemplating their strategy wisely. They might want to opt out of any Red Bull interest. The longer a driver remains in the Red Bull family, the slimmer their chances become of a prolonged career. Just look at drivers like Gasly and Sainz, who found new life after stepping away. The stakes are high, and teams need to secure future success while managing their talents effectively. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, recently dodged questions about Hajar potentially replacing Yuki Tsunoda. Horner emphasized that it's still early for Tsunoda, who has shown glimpses of potential but also faced setbacks during the season. He reassured fans there's still ample time to evaluate their options. As the season progresses, the pressure is on. Verstappen ranks 3rd with 137 points, whereas Tsunoda has only managed 10. And interestingly, Hajar is pulling ahead with 21 points. This dynamic raises questions about Red Bull's driver lineup and future strategies. Amidst this competitive spirit, Hajar has already sparked interest with his rookie performance in the 2025 campaign. Yet, he's also found himself in a whirlwind of fan misunderstandings, especially during a live interview showcasing the challenges of fame in F1. In this ever-evolving narrative of young drivers, Hajar's decisions could set the tone for his career trajectory moving forward. Stay tuned as we follow these gripping developments in the world of Formula One.